The Smiths' next album hit the shelves in June 1986. Revered by many as their defining moment, The Queen is Dead had arrived.
The Queen is Dead felt like a real leap to me. It's a very interesting combo, isn't it? It's kind of got these deadly serious kind of, and slightly perhaps rockier tunes, coupled with these kind of like little pop delicacies.
The Queen is Dead is the album where it all comes together. I mean, just astonishing set of songs. Johnny Marr, who I think is still only 21 years old, which is quite extraordinary, coming up with these incredible melodies. And one of the interesting things that's always struck me about the Smiths is Morrissey once said that the melancholy in his lyrics was very often inspired by the sadness of Johnny Marr's tunes, because more often than not, the melody came first and then Morrissey added the words. And I think that's what happens on The Queen is Dead. The two come together, the music and the lyrics are kind of speaking with one voice, really.
For The Queen is Dead, basically the recordings happened over over a period of time, cut up between their touring and so on. They were very busy doing touring appearances and so on. So it'd be a few weeks here and a few weeks there. Again, the band were very tight, very together, because they had been doing so much playing. And there was a distinct, again, impression of wanting to try and sonically widen the whole thing.
It quite possibly was. It was certainly the greatest British rock album of the 1980s, which in my book isn't actually saying a lot, because I don't think the competition was that strong. But you know, it does stand as a masterpiece, and I know a new generation is still discovering that record and being astonished by it to this day.
The real sort of archetypal Smiths album to me, I think, would probably be Meat Is Murder. I just think that's the best album for me. I think The Queen is Dead is a lot more accessible, I think, in strange ways as well. But it just is just one of those bands that all their albums are different.
The title track, The Queen is Dead, is one of the defining moments of the Smiths' career. And it's not just an attack on royalty, it's actually an attack on the whole kind of moral decay of Thatcher's Britain.
It's picking off targets all the way through. It's picking off really good targets. The title itself is great as well. I mean, it was great that somebody actually stood up and said the royal family, how awful the royal family is, what an utterly pointless thing it is. But it's not even like the royal family are actually interesting or good to look at, isn't it? It's just like this really ugly German family that gets paid millions of pounds to open supermarkets.
The original plan was to title the album Margaret on Guillotine. He started writing the song, but the song wasn't finished in time. And so it subsequently turned up on a solo album. But yeah, I mean, had they finished the song, we never would have had The Queen is Dead. It would have had a different title.
To promote The Queen is Dead, the Smiths embarked on a grueling tour of the United States. Despite their best efforts, however, they would never quite manage to break the American market.
That American tour was the massive tour. It was the huge, huge tour where we were just about to become gigantic. It was, you really felt, it felt peculiar because you thought that, you know, we'd already climbed so many mountains, were we going to climb any more? And there we were, just surging.
The reaction to the Smiths was, yeah, it was pretty intense from the American crowd. By this time anyway, I knew what the Smiths crowd were like, because I'd done a few gigs in Britain with the Smiths, a couple of TV shows, and I thought, you know, the Smiths are so, you know, real hero worshipped, really. You know, and you see that with other bands a little bit, but not to the extent of the Smiths.
This American tour would reinforce something that British fans had been aware of right from the beginning. that the Smiths were a truly phenomenal live experience.
It was very much meant to be a live experience, and the first thing that impressed me wasn't a Smiths record, it was seeing them, 4 of them live on stage in this basement in Manchester. So no, they were a great live band, and again that was my shock, because when Stephen told me he was going to be a pop star, I thought not in a million light years, and yet that very first day he could move with a mic. I mean, how this fragile, intellectual, strange kid could be so at ease moving with his microphone, God knows.
Morrissey could do that thing of reaching out to people, reaching out and connecting with people, and then you have this incredibly brilliant band giving him a platform to be Morrissey. It was very exciting.